Have you ever felt tired for no reason? Not the kind of tired that comes from a long day at work or a sleepless night. A different kind. A deep, quiet exhaustion that lives in your bones. It's the tiredness that's there. When you wake up, a low hum in the background of your day. It's the feeling of holding a certain facial expression for just a little too long. The effort behind the easy smile at the family dinner. The subtle tension in your shoulders as you say, "I'm fine, everything's great." It's the exhaustion of an actor who never gets to leave the stage, who even dreams in character. You start to forget where the role ends, and you begin. This isn't about deceiving other people. That's the simple, surface level version. The real performance, the one that truly drains your life force, is the one you put on for yourself. It's the story you repeat in the echo chamber of your own mind about who you are, what you want and what you believe. We think these stories are harmless. We think they're necessary. We build them carefully, brick by brick, to create a version of ourselves that feels safe, acceptable, and manageable. This isn't a moral failing. It's a survival mechanism, and it's one of the most brilliant and tragic things we do. Think about how it works. From a young age, you learn which parts of you get applause and which get silence. You learn that being agreeable is easier than being honest. You learn that wanting something unconventional makes people uncomfortable. So you begin to edit yourself. You trim the edges. You turn down the volume on your inconvenient desires, your strange curiosities, your raw, messy emotions. You create a character who can navigate the world more smoothly. The you who loves that stable but soul-crushing job because it's the responsible thing to do. The you who stays in a friendship that has long expired because leaving feels cruel. The you who nods along to opinions you don't share just to keep the peace. You become the curator of a museum dedicated to a person who doesn't actually exist. And you are its only visitor. Each of these little adjustments, these tiny self-betrayals, seems logical in the moment. It's a shield, a way to protect yourself from judgment, from conflict, from the terrifying uncertainty of forging your own path. The story says, wait, if I am this person, I will be safe. I will be loved. I will fit. But here is where the architecture of reality reveals a hidden rule. The universe, the whole way everything is set up, doesn't run on stories. It runs on truth. It runs on energy. And maintaining a story that isn't true requires an incredible amount of energy. Imagine holding a large beach ball underwater. On the surface of the pool, the water might look calm. But beneath the surface, your muscles are screaming with the constant, relentless effort of holding it down. That is the hidden work of lying to yourself. Every moment you are awake, a part of your energy is dedicated to this single task, keeping the truth from surfacing. This energy is diverted from everything else. It's diverted from your creativity, from your joy, from your ability to connect with people genuinely, from your physical health, and from your simple capacity to be present in your own life. You wonder why you feel uninspired, or why you can't seem to feel deep connections, or why you're always just a little bit anxious. It's because a significant portion of your power is occupied holding the beach ball down. And here's the thing. Reality is always trying to communicate with you, to send signals. The strange coincidence, the unexpected conversation, The song on the radio that speaks directly to your hidden feelings. These aren't random events. They are messages addressed to the real you. But if you are busy broadcasting a false signal, these messages can't get through. They bounce off the carefully constructed wall of your story. The universe is trying to deliver a package to your true address, but you're standing on the lawn of the house next door, waving and pretending you live there. So the delivery truck just drives on by. The opportunities you were perfect for, the people who would have understood the real you, the paths that would have led to a life that actually fits, they can't find you. They are looking for a signal, a resonance that you are actively suppressing. We've been taught to see this as a psychological issue, something to be managed with therapy or positive thinking. But it's simpler than that. It's a question of physics, of mechanics. You are a point of consciousness in a vast interconnected network. Your honest state of being has a certain resonance. When you pretend to be something you're not, you introduce static into your own signal. You feel it, don't you? That subtle dissonance, the feeling of being an imposter in your own skin. It's the gap between the story you tell and the truth you feel. We tell ourselves the story is a bearable version of reality. We think the raw truth of our fears, our desires, our perceived flaws is too much to handle. We choose the exhaustion of the performance over the fear of the truth. We choose the dull ache of inauthenticity because we believe it's the price of admission to a stable life. So the central question isn't whether you're a good or bad person for doing this. The framework of morality doesn't apply here. It's a functional question. It's a practical question. What is the true cost of living this way? What happens to all that energy we spend every single day maintaining the gap between who we truly are and who we pretend to be? It doesn't just vanish. It accumulates. It calcifies. It becomes the invisible walls of the prison we call our comfort zone. It becomes the weight that makes every step feel a little heavier than it should. The real tragedy is not the lie itself. It's the life that goes unlived because of it. The real you, the one with all its messy, inconvenient and brilliant truths, is waiting patiently for the performance to end. Waiting for you to finally get tired, enough of the role to simply walk off the stage and sit down. The paradox is that the shield we create to protect ourselves from life is the very thing that prevents us from truly living it. We are hiding from the very thing we seek, a genuine connection to ourselves and to the world around us. And the first step, the only step that matters, is to simply acknowledge the exhaustion, to admit how heavy the mask has become, to stop pretending that you're not tired. That is the beginning of everything. By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. So you finally allow yourself to be tired. You stop holding the beach ball underwater. It bursts to the surface. And for a moment, the water is chaotic. This is the moment you stop lying. And what you see in that first unfiltered instant is not the beautiful, enlightened soul you hoped was hiding underneath. It's not a moment of pure light. Instead, you see the raw data of yourself. You see the sharp-edged pettiness you pretend isn't there. You see the flash of genuine envy when a friend announces good news. You see the deep, cold fear that motivates so many of your sensible decisions. You see the laziness that chooses comfort over growth again and again. You see the hunger for validation that makes you check your phone one more time. It's all laid out, with no story to soften the blow. For a moment, it is devastating. You have spent a lifetime curating a beautiful exhibit, and suddenly the lights come on, revealing that it's all just props, wires, and dust. But then, something truly remarkable happens. If you can resist the urge to immediately start building a new, more authentic story, if you can just sit in the quiet discomfort of the raw truth, the judgment begins to fall away. You start to see these things not as moral failings, but as parts of a mechanism. The envy, it's a compass pointing toward what you truly desire. The fear, it's a primitive alarm system that has kept you safe, even if it's now outdated. The laziness, it's a signal that your energy is being spent on things that don't truly matter to you. You stop seeing yourself as a verdict to be judged, and start seeing yourself as a set of patterns to be understood. And here is where the architecture of reality begins to respond in a way you never thought possible. By ceasing to transmit a false signal, you start broadcasting your true one. It might be quieter, it might be strange, it might not be what you think people want to hear, but it's clear. And for the first time, the world can get a clear lock on you. The connections that happen now are different. A conversation with a colleague goes to a surprisingly deep place, because for the first time you didn't give the pre-approved, polite answer. You said something true and a little vulnerable, and they responded in kind. You meet someone new, and you don't put on the usual performance. You're just you, a little awkward, a little quiet, and you realise they are connecting with that person, the real one. They are not connecting with your representative. The opportunities that appear are different too. Before, you were trying to fit into boxes that didn't quite fit, for jobs or roles that looked good in the story you were telling. You had to use force and effort to make it work. Now, strange little synchronicities begin to happen. You'll have a random thought about a skill you'd like to learn, and the next day, a friend will mention a class. You'll finally admit to yourself you're unhappy in your city, and a week later, an unexpected opportunity to move appears out of nowhere. This isn't magic, it's mechanics. The network of reality is always trying to connect points with similar resonance. When you were pretending, you were sending out a fuzzy, dishonest signal, attracting fuzzy, dishonest experiences. Now that your signal is pure, the corresponding points in the network can finally find you. The universe can finally deliver the mail to the right address. You start making decisions differently. Before, you would weigh the options based on how they would look in your story. What's the sensible choice? What will my parents think? What does a person like me do in this situation? Now, the compass is much simpler. It is inside you. It's a feeling. A deep, quiet sense of yes or no. Choosing to leave a party early, not because you have an excuse, but simply because you want to go home. Saying, I don't know, in a meeting, instead of bluffing. Admitting to someone, what you said hurt me, instead of pretending you're fine. Each of these small acts of truth is like laying a stone for a foundation. And this is the most important part to understand. The harsh, messy, unfiltered truth of who you are, with all the fear, the selfishness, and the pettiness, alongside the immense capacity for love and strength, is not the end of the story. It is the beginning. It is the only solid ground you will ever have. For your entire life, you may have been trying to build a beautiful house on sand. The stories you told yourself were the sand. They looked level and easy to build on, but you always knew, deep down, that the foundation was unstable. Every storm of life, every real challenge, threatened the whole structure. Admitting the truth is like clearing away all that sand. It's hard, dirty work. And what you find underneath is bedrock. It's not pretty. It's uneven, jagged, and unforgiving. But it is real. It is the only ground solid enough to build a life on. Every decision you make from this place of truth, every relationship you form based on who you actually are, every step you take guided by your real feelings, that is a brick laid on bedrock. This new house might not look as perfect as the old one. It will be shaped by the contours of your true nature. It will be strange and uniquely your own, but it will be strong. It will be able to withstand anything, because it is built on the only thing in your life that is completely, unshakably real, the truth of what is. This is not about becoming a better person. It is about becoming a real person, and the deep exhaustion you used to feel is replaced by something else entirely. A quiet strength, the feeling of finally standing on solid ground. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, "I am building on bedrock." Write it as your promise. Nobody